Can everybody hear me in this court?
Hey,
Yes,
get
sir.
up.
Yes, Your
Yes,
Honor.
Your Honor.
All right.
Is that you, Hawk?
Trial is now in
Yeah.
session. We are
Get
here.
up that, or I was gonna yell at you. I'm just gonna give you a warning.
Hold on.
Hey, static.
Walk over
Yeah.
here.
Shut up. Quiet.
We're on global, so we're going to hear you regardless.
Sorry, Your Honor. Carry on.
No problem. No problem. So, today the defendant will be Aaron Arbaugh. He is on trial for felony evasion as well as
Change it to
domestic abuse.
LS.
The defendant will be his girlfriend, Katie Arbaugh, I believe.
Alexis.
And her
I'm sorry,
Katie Alexis. My mistake. My paperwork here has the right word. Katie Alexis, as well as her defendant, her attorney. My mistake. I will go ahead and let the defendant the prosecutor take the stand and go ahead and start off this trial. All may be seated except for the representative of the defendant.
Okay, my attorney will be speaking on my behalf.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Is it cool if I come up there, Your Honor?
Absolutely. Please take the
Okay.
floor. I wish all to remain order in the court while the defendant speaks. He has the floor. Any interruption may lead in a mistrial. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, we're here today for reasons of Mr. Arbaugh felony looting and also domestic violence of his ex-girlfriend, Miss Katie Alexis. I'm just gonna... What?
No problem, sir. Get your notes in order. There's absolutely no rush, sir. Go ahead.
I responded to a call of a domestic violence. I showed up on scene. It was 945, I believe, in Sandy in 68 area. I got there, and Miss Alexis had all sorts of bruising. I've got pictures, bruising on her face, arms, legs, stomach, back, and she had said that her boyfriend had done it. And she went into detail, told me that he'd found out that she cheated on him, all that. And then
Please be seated. Except for you, sir. You may continue. Mr. Attorney of the prosecutor, we cannot hear you if you're speaking, sir. I do apologize. Just if everyone in the court would just give us a minute. This is his first case, and he's got the first day jitters. So just give him a moment, and he will get back to us here.
Hello?
Ah, there he is. How are you doing, sir?
Okay.
You may continue your. You may continue.
Okay. As I was saying, we were here because of all the domestic violence that had occurred during that incident. Like I said, she had bruising on her face, legs, arms, backs, stomach area, even on her torso area. And Mr. Arbaugh here decided to flee from us as well.
Yes, sir. What evidence can you provide to this court?
I have evidence. I have pictures of all the evidence. If you would like to see them, Your Honor.
No problem. If you could just bring them up here to my desk, so that I may review them while you continue to present your case.
Here, sir. Hand to me, and then I'll hand it to the.
There you go, sir. Okay.
Thank you, bailiff.
Here you go, Your Honor.
Thank you, bailiff.
You're welcome.
You may continue your case, sir. Here.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Your Honor, if you will, check your emails.
Absolutely. I have reviewed the evidence. Of course, if you would like to make any further statements for your side of the case, you may, prosecutor. If not, then I will give the defendant the floor once you are seated.
Your Honor.
Yes, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can. I would like
Okay.
to bring my client up to the stand.
Absolutely. If she may just come over here real quick. Bailiff, if you would go ahead and get her to swear by the Bible that she will tell nothing but the truth
Yes, Your
before
Honor.
she takes stand at the witness stand.
Okay, ma'am. Do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth? On this oath.
So help me God.
Yes, yes, sir. I swear.
Ma'am.
Yes, I swear. By the truth, nothing but the truth, and anything but the truth. Can you?
All right, miss. Once the bailiff tells you, you may be seated on the witness stand to the right of me. Ba-
Your
did
Honor,
you
did
did you hear her, bailiff?
I did not hear her.
Okay,
Sir.
she did comply. She says that she swears to tell nothing but the truth and only the truth. So help her God.
Okay. Please be seated.
Thank you.
All right. The prosecutor now has the floor. If I may ask for order in the court while she speaks, no interruptions. You may go, miss.
Okay, so I was at home and I got back from my new boyfriend's house, and about 30 minutes after I got home, Aaron, my ex-boyfriend, came into the property and found out that I was cheating on him. He beat me multiple times, assaulting me, hitting me, anything that you can think of. And I made a 911 call pretending to order a pizza. Luckily, the operator understood that I was making a report for domestic abuse. And sheriff units came to the property. I went out front after my ex-boyfriend spoke to the sheriff unit, pretending to be a pizza delivery guy, at the front of the property. Anything that happened with Aaron after that, after he went to the bedroom, I have no idea. Didn't see that. And then I was taken to the station for questioning, as the judge has. He has his has the image of my face afterwards that was taken. The other images of the ones are unfortunately not shown to him because of the there would be nudity involved and we legally couldn't show that for some reason. Anyways, the 911 call that was said to Word was, "Hi, I would like to order a pepperoni pizza." The operator went to say, "This is for an emergency only," and I continued to go, "Yes, yes." The operator said, "Do you have is someone else in the room with you?" I said, "Yes." They said, "If the suspect is armed, please say extra." That time because I couldn't see, but I said anyways, just to give precaution to officers, making sure they're safe. And then that's pretty much how the call went. And not long after, the deputies came to my door. Yeah, that's pretty much everything that happened on that day.
Thank you, Miss. And is there anything else you'd like to say before you take a seat?
No, Your Honor.
I've taken into account everything you have said and reviewed the evidence as it is on my paper, as well as connected it to what you have said. I thank you very much for your testimony. You may take a seat.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, can I step out for 1 minute to fix my hearing problem?
Absolutely, bailiff. Take all the time you need, sir. Would you like us to wait for you, or would you like us to continue?
Just give me 30 seconds.
No problem, sir. We will wait patiently for you. When the bailiff returns, we will be speaking from the defendants, unless the prosecutors have anything else they'd like to say from the representative on their side. Do you have anything else you'd like to say, Representative?
No, I don't.
All right. Whenever the bailiff returns, I will give permission for the prosecutor's representative to step up and take the floor in response to what we've heard from the prosecutors.
Okay, Your Honor. Sorry about that.
No problem. All right. If I could have the defendants please take a stand. To clarify, you are under trial right now for domestic abuse as well as felony evading. You do now have the floor to present your case. Would you like yourself to speak or your representative to speak on your behalf?
Your Honor, my client would like to speak after me, sir.
You would like to represent your client, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Understood. You now have the floor. If I could have order in the court while the defendants present their case.
Your Honor, upon further request, I would like to speak with the victim of the case. I would like to question the victim of the case. On the stand, please.
Permission is granted. If I could have the victim, the prosecutor, come up and please take the witness seat again.
Your Honor, I would like to say something before the witness takes the oath.
She's
Your
already
Honor,
taken the oath, sir.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, we're looking at somebody right now. My client has no priors.
Please take a seat, Miss. Disregard.
My
Go ahead,
client has no history of domestic abuse. You know, we're looking at somebody that was caught up in the moment, stressed, under a lot of emotional stress, causing him to think improperly, Your Honor. I'd like you to take that upon your behalf.
No problem, sir. Just give me 1 second to review the evidence.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, but it would appear that Aaron Arbaugh is a multiple convicted felon. This is not his first instance. Although it is his first instance with a domestic dispute, he has been arrested before for a felony crime, sir. So he is a convicted felon prior. So I just wanted you to know that information. Would you like the prosecutor to take the stand at the witness stand, sir?
Your Honor, I would like the victim to take the stand, please, upon further questioning.
No problem. Miss Katie, if you wouldn't mind taking the stand here at the witness seat for questioning. You've already taken your oath, miss, so...
Okay.
Please have a seat.
The victim as well as the defendant's representative now have the floor. Anyone else who speaks will be kicked out of this courtroom. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Alexis, how are you today?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thank you for asking. Miss Alexis, we stand here today as you're accusing my client of domestically abusing you. My first question to you, Miss Alexis, is, upon your further knowledge, was there any knowledge to your mind of my client abusing you in the past?
We've had the relationship's been off and off for quite a while now. Because I've been neglecting the relationship myself for the past few months, and he didn't seem like he was going to abuse me at any time, but I mean, still abusing me at one point of the relationship is still domestic abuse, and I have to emotionally and physically suffer with that regardless if he showed signs beforehand.
Your Honor, can we hold a 5-minute recess?
5-minute recess has been granted. If you may want to stay in your positions, you may. If you want to go take a seat back in your original positions, you may as well. We will be taking a 5-minute recess as we wait for the defendant to return.
Hey, Hawk, come over here.
Hey, do you want to do that switch off thing?
Your Honor, I would like to step out.
All right, Your Honor.
That's you.
Your Honor, looking pretty nice up there, stretching out, Your Honor.
I think he might be out of his head right now.
Hey, can I
So?
get you to stand on the other side?
Hey, is that judge doing his yoga back there?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
On my side or on him on side?
Vital, you stay on this side. Dark, go to the other side, please, and thank you, sir.
All right. Is everyone done with the recess?
Yes,
Your Honor,
Your
yes.
Honor.
Your Honor, we would like to reconvene.
Absolutely. I now call this session back. This court back in session. All rules before applied. No speaking. The defendant's representative, as well as the prosecutor's victim, has the floor. You may resume.
Miss Alexis, we left off upon my question if there was any further domestic violence issues in the past. You failed to answer that question. Again, I will ask you the question one more time. Do you have any knowledge of Mr. Arbaugh assaulting you prior to this incident?
Can you repeat the question again? I didn't hear it.
Yes, ma'am. My question is do you have any knowledge of my client, Mr. Arbaugh, assaulting you prior to this incident?
No, like I said in the previous question, he never showed signs of it at all. He never abused me in the past, never hit me in the past. It's just been a rough few months, and I guess he must have broke in a way.
Miss Alexis, is there any possible way that you are so affected by the emotional damage that you are not thinking clearly on the stand right now?
I'm thinking perfectly fine, sir. I don't see why that is relevant to anything.
Miss Alexis, were you aware at the beginning of the relationship that there was a chance that my client, Mr. Arbaugh, may have shown signs of assaulting you?
No, when I first met him, he was really nice. He never. I thought he would never have done something like this, but I don't know.
And Miss Alexis, is there any witnesses in the past that have visually witnessed my client, Mr. Arbaugh, assault you?
No, there was only that one incident, which was in my home. Well, my uncle's home, I should say.
Miss Alexis, were you aware that Mr. Arbaugh had weapons in the home?
I thought there was a possibility. Because I don't know what he does on his daily life, but it's America. Anyone has a weapon in beside their bed, beside anyone. So
And Miss Alexis, do you have any mental illness requiring you to not think properly?
No, I do not have any mental illnesses.
Thank you, Miss Alexis. Your Honor, if I have the floor, I would like to say a few.
You do have the floor. You may proceed.
Your Honor, I think it's Your Honor, I think it's clear here that my client has had no run-ins with law enforcement in the past, causing a history of domestic violence. It is upon further review of my questioning, it seems Miss Alexis is a little bit damaged due to this.
Objection granted. You may proceed. If I may intervene and speak to the defendant's representative, we are on trial for the incident itself, not anything that happened prior to the incident. Therefore, if you would like to show evidence of what happened and that your client did not do what the incident says he did, as well as the officers and the evidence states he did, then you may proceed. We're not on trial for anything that happened before the incident, therefore bringing up any history, although it may be relevant, it will not sway this trial. So if you may present evidence on how he did not commit the incident when the incident was committed, I am aware that maybe he has not had any domestic run-ins prior to the incident, but this trial is for the incident itself, not any altercations before the incident. So can you provide evidence to us that he did not commit the crime that we are on trial for right now, sir?
Your Honor, if you would let me finish, the reason I brought my client's history up is due to the fact that we're looking at a man that's being convicted of two crimes here that can change his life. My client is willing to take a plea deal for the felony eluding. As far as the domestic violence goes, we're looking at somebody here again, and I will continue to bring up my client's past due to the fact that it can very well sway the situation. Your Honor, I believe that you see multiple victims a day due to domestic battery, and the assaulters, have proof, you could say, of their clients, physically, verbally, and sexually assaulting them. Our defendants here, Miss Alexis, we have no proof that my client assaulted her. Miss Alexis, I'd like to ask you one more further question. Do you have security cameras on the property? Because to my knowledge, in the police report, there was no CCTV that showed my client assaulting Miss Alexis, causing there to be no proof that my client physically assaulted her due to the marks that could be caused by something else. So I asked the trial to present me evidence of the cameras if they were on the property.
May I say
Understood.
something, Your
Absolutely. You are still on. You still have the floor, Miss Alexis.
So, you're saying that I would purposely accuse someone of something that could jeopardize their entire life on
Objection,
something.
irrelevant.
I will have to grant that this is quite irrelevant. We do not know your personal history or your personal affiliation. Therefore, we cannot know exactly if the crime has been altered due to your personal
Yes, Your
opinion
Honor.
of the defendant. So, if we could keep this straight to the facts and the evidence.
Yep.
But he also.
Your Honor.
Sorry, go ahead and let her go, sir. You may go,
Yes,
Miss
sir.
Alexis.
Yes, Your
What
Honor.
is your
Okay.
question, Miss Alexis?
Your Honor, he earlier mentioned that this could ruin their life, which yes is true. So
That
why
is true, but
my
that is also
statement was
irrelevant.
objected? Okay, it was never objected then. Why was mine objected now?
Because if your representative had declared an objection, I would have went ahead and approved it. That seems to be between you and your representative. You can also call for objection if you feel something is being brought up unfairly and without the proper amount of evidence or.
Your Honor, if I may say something myself,
You may go
before
ahead.
before I call my client up to the stand for further discussion, I think
Absolutely.
it's clear that we're seeing Miss Alexis in a state that isn't.
Objection granted. We did do a medical analysis of all the individuals before we came in here. Attempting to call this a mistrial due to the presence of mental illness will. Do you have anything
Your
else
Honor,
to bring to the table, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, that's not what I'm referring to. I just think it's clear that Miss Alexis is having trouble understanding.
Your Honor, may I see?
You may see, victim.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Therefore, you will be under oath.
I swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, under oath.
You may be seated, sir.
If I could have you step over here to the left side of me, sir.
Your Honor, I will be asking my client further questions upon him.
Of course,
having
you
a
still have the
written
floor,
statement.
sir.
Yes,
We're
sir.
just trying to get the oath underway.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I would like to make it apparent to the court that the prosecutors, the defendant, both the defendant himself and his representative now have the floor. Any speaking will result in you being removed from this court. You may proceed.
Hello, Mr. Arbaugh. How are you this afternoon?
I'm good, Mr. McLean. How about yourself?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking. For the record, Your Honor, my client does have a written statement after further questions.
Understood.
Mr. Arbaugh, it seems that we are at a court today upon your two charges, one for felony evading and one for domestic violence. Are you aware of this?
I am.
Mr. Arbaugh, do you recall having any encounters with Miss Alexis of domestic abuse upon her assistance?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, sir. The question was, do you recall having any incidents before this of domestic abuse, of you physically, sexually, or mentally abusing Miss Alexis?
No, I have never sexually or mentally or physically abused anyone at all.
And to your knowledge, could Miss Alexis have the capability of leading a mistrial with leading evidence?
I mean, she misled me for almost 5 months. So
And Mr. Arbaugh, you say she misled you. Do you have any clear evidence that you can present to the jury that she misled you?
No, I do not.
All right, Mr. Arbaugh, I understand. Again, before you have your written statement, Mr. Arbaugh, I would like to speak on the floor in front of the jury. Your Honor, I think again, I will bring this up. It's very clear that my client is at a very compatible state to take the stand and prove that he is innocent. There is no proof. My client would
Objection,
like to.
Your Honor.
Objection accepted. You now have the floor, the prosecutor's representative.
Your Honor, you have pictures of Miss Alexis and the bruises on her feet,
That I
back,
do.
face, arms, everything. So that is irrelevant for what he is saying to you.
Objection, no proof that this is related to the crime.
If I may step in here, he is right. This could have been on a separate occasion. Therefore, there is no alternative or definite proof that this happened during the time period that you state. Is there any proof you can provide that would change that? I am speaking to you, the representative of the prosecutor. If I may ask, who took these pictures?
It was me, sir.
Yes, sir. And are you speaking on are you also a law enforcement official who was there on the scene?
Yes, I am. I'm the one that was on the scene. I'm the one that showed up and took the pictures
So these
of her.
10-4. So these pictures are part of an actual investigation provided from the San Andreas law enforcement officials, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you for clarifying, sir. Do you have anything else you'd like to say to me before you are seated and the defendants get to proceed with their case?
No, Your Honor, that's it.
You may be seated, sir. Defendants, you now have the floor once again.
Your Honor, I would like to grant the floor to my client, Mr. Arbaugh, to speak.
Permission is granted. You may speak, Mr. Arbaugh.
All right, thank you, Honorable Judge. I would like to make myself clear. Was I there that day? Yes, I was. But when all this occurred, the time lapse seems a little messed up to me, if you ask my opinion. When I will say I thought I was talking to the pizza guy, but I then walked out the back door of the premises, and there was an officer there standing out the back door, and he asked me if there was any other police up front, and I told him, well, I know that there's a pizza guy up there, and he said, okay, thank you, sir, you have a good day. Then I proceeded to walk through my backyard to go check on my cattle that is back there, and then when I turn around, I am being chased by the police, and I have no understanding of why I was being chased by the police. If that was considered fleeing and eluding, then I will take that charge.
Mr. Arbaugh, may I ask you a question? I am sorry to interrupt, but I must ask a question for clarification.
Go ahead.
So, to my knowledge and to your knowledge, you were never indicated that you were under arrest or being stopped by law enforcement officials?
Correct, Honor. Like I said, I proceeded to walk out the back door, and the officer was standing back there in the backyard, and I walked right by him. He asked me how I was doing. I said good. Then he asked if I knew of any other police officers up front. I told him that I did not, that the only person that I knew was up there on the front porch was the pizza guy at the time, as I thought was the pizza guy.
Understood. Do you have anything else to present for your case, Mr. Arbaugh?
No, not that I have of right now, unless my attorney has any other evidence or anything else that he would like to provide.
You may speak, Representative.
Your Honor, I do. I now, after hearing my client's statement, both in front of the court and in front of the defendant, I believe it's evident, very clearly evident, that the police failed to identify. So therefore, my client should be released of the fleeing and eluding charge. Clearly, my client was not aware of the fact that he was being chased or followed by the police due to they made the mistake of failing to identify. Your Honor, that's all.
Understood. Both the defendant and his representative may be seated unless you have anything further to say at this time. You still have the floor, so please use this as an opportunity to make your conclusion.
Your Honor, I would like to make one more conclusion before we head out and make
Accepted.
the decision.
Go ahead, sir.
Your Honor, my client is both visually and verbally aware of the officer that was involved that failed to identify as well. That was on scene, and we would like to call him to the stand. Your Honor, my apologies for not being aware of this situation at the
That
moment.
will be accepted. If the officer who was involved in that would please take a stand. If he is in this courtroom.
Your Honor, I know exactly who it is. I know his face clearly.
And if you may take the oath over by the bailiff, you
I
will
will.
ultimately have the floor. Would you like to question him, or would you like him just to speak on behalf of what you said?
I'm talking about the officer that failure to identify me that I walked past in my backyard.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor,
is your
I would like to-
representative going to question him, or is he just going to speak on behalf of what you said?
I would like my attorney to question him.
Absolutely.
I
Mr.
agree to
Arbaugh,
the
unless you have
situation.
anything further to say, you may say it. If not, you may take a seat back at your booth.
Okay, may I point out the officer that was in my backyard at that point in time?
Absolutely, although I feel like I know who it is.
It was that officer over there leaning up against the rail next to the corrections officer. I know his face, and that's the officer that failed to identify me. If I would like for him to come up here.
Officer, if you may take a stand in the front of the court, please.
Your Honor, just so it's clear for evidence in front of the courtroom, may we get the officer's name and badge number before
All
returning to
information
question?
will be provided. You may take a seat, Representative. Officer, if you may go up to the bailiff and take your oath.
Do you
I'm
swear?
sorry. Don't take a seat, Mr. Representative. I apologize. I forgot you were questioning him. You may stay standing at the floor, sir. But please be quiet while he takes his oath.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth? To swear on God that you are being placed under oath?
I do.
Please take a seat.
You may take a seat to the right of me, sir. Before you begin your questioning, can you please go ahead and give us your full name, your rank, and which department you serve under, sir?
501 Deputy Chief Fire William.
You may take the seat. You and the representative now have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor, for allowing me to have the floor. Deputy Chief Williams, how are you this afternoon? Nice table, I apologize.
Pretty good.
Wonderful. Just for the record of court, I will be questioning Mr. Williams upon further review. Mr. Williams, do you recall having a visual time frame that you were dispatched out to the scene of the so-called domestic abuse?
No, I do not. I cannot remember the time frame.
And it is to my understanding the call came out as a possible domestic violence in progress?
As I know, yes, but they didn't say it. The dispatcher didn't directly say it was a domestic violence to me. All I know is I needed to respond out to a call, and that's where I was going. I was en route as a 32.
Mr. Williams, so are you saying you do not recall what you were directly going out to the Arbaugh residence?
No, I do not remember.
Mr. Williams, do you believe that you were fit for Deputy Chief of the Sandy Shores Police Department?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Williams, it seems as soon as you arrived on scene, what was your next move?
What happened next was I arrived on scene, I turned off my lights, and I pulled up right by the other officer's vehicle. I went up to the door, and that's when I asked him what was going on. He told me what was going on. It was a domestic violence, and that's when I knew what it was. And then,
I apologize. Go ahead.
And then after that, the officer told me to go around the back. And as soon as I walked into the back, That's when I was standing right by the house, away from the windows, and there was a lot of radio traffic going on, and I didn't know if he wanted me to stop the guy or not.
And Mr. Williams, do you recall Mr. Arbaugh having any weapons on his personnel?
As I seen, no, he did not.
And Mr. Williams, what was your next move after you were informed by your supervisor that you were on scene of a domestic violence?
He told me that I called in that there was a door in the back that he could come through, and that I should wait there just in case he comes out. Just to let you know, I did not have I did not know what the guy looked like. I didn't know if there was more than one person inside, so yeah.
Mr. Williams, I believe that is irrelevant to the case. My next question is, upon seeing Mr. Arbaugh exit the residence, do you recall identifying to Mr. Arbaugh who you were and what you were there for?
I do not remember that.
So, Your Honor, it seems we have an officer here that failed to identify to my client, Mr. Arbaugh, making
Objection,
my
Your
client...
Honor.
Objection granted. Go ahead and speak on behalf of your objection, sir.
Your Honor, my officer had told Mr. Arbaugh that he was the LSPD or Sandy PD deputy chief. I have it all in writing here.
Understood. And can you present that evidence to my bailiff, who will present it to me?
I can, Your Honor.
Your Honor, although
do so.
Your Honor,
he still
although
has
he
the floor,
has...
sir. Just please give him one moment to present the
Thank
evidence
you.
for me to review it. May I also ask to either the witness here or the representative of the
Can I get an estimate
prosecutor,
time when
do
it's
we have
assigning?
any body cam footage of the incident? If so, would it be possible for that to be sent to me? If not, I understand.
Here you go, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, may I proceed with my questioning to Mr. Williams?
Please give me one moment to review the evidence.
Yes, Your Honor.
Give me just one moment while I look through here. I apologize for the halt in court, but I must be caught up with the evidence before I proceed. If I could have either the the prosecutor's representative or the eyewitness here to speak in the top left for me, it would make my job a lot easier. Based on the evidence here, it does say that he did identify himself and his rank, as well as what department he was in. With
Your
that,
Honor,
I'm going to
so-
go ahead and leave that closed and let you have the floor, sir.
Your Honor, so although it is evident that he did identify, is it clear on the body cam footage whether he identified to my client? Although he may have identified his rank and who he was, did he clearly state to my client of what was going on?
May I also interject and explain that in the law of California, if you are being stopped by a law enforcement official, whether he identifies himself or not, you still must stop. He's still wearing all the proper identity badges and everything to indicate in what department he works for and what possibly his rank is. When you're stopped
Objection,
by
Your
law
Honor.
enforcement-
There is no clear that wasn't my statement that I was referring to. I was referring to he never, unless there is clear evidence on the body cam, he never told He never told my client, Mr. Arbaugh, that he was being stopped. Although he identified, he never said stop, to my knowledge, Your Honor.
Understood. You may proceed.
Mr. Williams, how long have you been deputy chief of these police departments here in San Andreas?
About 2 months.
And Mr. Williams, what was your rank before being assigned the deputy chief rank?
I was actually a deputy of the San Andreas Sheriff Department.
And Mr. Williams, why did you choose to transfer from that department?
Objection, Your Honor. Unwrongfully.
It's objection granted. You may proceed.
Mr.
Objection
Williams.
granted, prosecutor or prosecutor
Irrelevant.
representative. You may proceed.
That-
I do accept the unrelevance of this and wish you to speak to a more relevant topic. His position has
My
nothing to
apologies,
do with
Your
his
Honor. I'll
actions.
move on.
No problem, sir. You may proceed.
Mr. Williams, you took the deputy chief position to serve and protect the citizens and abide by the laws in the state of San Andreas, correct?
Yes, I did.
And Mr. Williams, it is clear, if Your Honor, I'd like you to review the body cam footage and see if this if this deputy chief told my client, Mr. Arbaugh, to stop in his tracks.
If I may ask to both the prosecutors of the court as well as the eyewitness here, do we have an actual documentation of the body cam? If not, then I will go ahead and review it through the chief's Wi-Fi body cam reader. What that will entail is in the top left. It will be reviewed to me. I am wearing these contacts you see, and on the top left they allow me to know some evidence. Therefore, I will be reviewing that evidence. It may take me a little bit longer, but I'm going to go ahead and review the body cam. I want nothing but the truth to be permitted or presented to me. Do both the prosecutors and defendant understand what I'm asking?
Yes, I do.
Understood. What about the defendants?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
You're the okay, understood. I must have misunderstood. I'm going to go ahead and review it now. If I could just... we are going to call for a 5-minute recess while I review
Your Honor,
it.
could I say something really quick?
You may
Your
go
Honor,
ahead.
Your Honor, I believe I have the floor. I would not like the victim to speak at this time.
No problem.
Due to
You do have
just-
the floor. I do apologize for forgetting that fact. You may proceed, sir. I did. You are not dismissed. I apologize. If the prosecutor would just wait patiently, you will have the floor here in a moment.
Your Honor, may I ask for a 5-minute recess upon returning to the court, please?
The recess is granted as so I can go ahead
Your Honor.
and review the evidence that has been provided to me.
Let's go, Mr. Arbaugh.
Everyone, you have a 5-minute recess.
sir.
Please return here in 5 minutes. If I may
Hey.
speak to the bailiff personally.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's step outside.
Excuse me, bailiff. Didn't mean to run into.
No, you're okay, sir.
I can't get through here. I'm too big.
Your Honor, are we still in a recess?
We're not in a recess. Please take your seat. I will call those to the floor who have
Repeat that
access
again?
to the floor. I'm still reviewing the evidence at this time,
Repeat
but
that
the
again? I can't
court
hear you.
is back in session at this time.
Your Honor, will I be granted the
I'm
floor
on
as I
the
was
right.
still
You will-
questioning Chief
You will be
Deputy
granted
Williams?
the floor in the beginning of this court. Please give me one more minute to review the evidence, sir.
I
Thank you,
cannot
Your
hear
Honor.
you. Johnny's talking. My bad.
You may proceed, bailiff. I did not mean to interrupt your conversation with them.
Hey, Your Honor.
Yes, bailiff, you may proceed.
Can we get all officers to stay in the courtroom and not leave during this time?
Absolutely. Bailiff, you may make the announcement since you are the head of security here in this courtroom. I will not overstep your position and let you go ahead and make that announcement, sir, whenever you are ready.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Alright, I need all officers to stay in here. Do not leave the courtroom. If you leave the courtroom, there will be consequences from the judge himself. Thank you.
That does count for recess as well. I do ask you to stay in here during recess, as recess is only for the civilians and the defendant, the prosecutor, the jury, and anyone else who may be in the stands. As for the officers, you are here to protect this courtroom. I please ask that you maintain that even during recess. The trial is now back on. The trial is now back in session. The defendant's representative had the floor last. You may take the floor, sir. Deputy or Officer Williams here. Sorry, I didn't mean to say deputy, sir. That's my mistake. Chief deputy or chief. My mistake, sir. I'm getting tongue-tied here. The officer here also has the floor. The officer, as well as the defendant's representative, have the floor. Anyone else who speaks may be removed from this courtroom. Please keep that in mind, and please keep an honorable silence while they speak. You may proceed.
Your Honor, thank you. May I ask what the body cam showed?
The evidence that was shown was that he did identify himself, his rank, and his which unit he patrols or which department he patrols with. He was not asked to stop at this time. The evidence did show that he was not asked to stop. Therefore, he was not lawfully being stopped at the time, even though an officer was attempting to stop him without letting him know that he was being stopped.
Therefore, since Deputy Chief Williams failed to properly tell my client to stop, I ask upon the court that the fleeing and evading is reduced to a minimum, considering the fact that Deputy Chief Williams failed to identify himself properly, causing my client. Hey,
Objection.
Excuse me, miss.
Objection overruled. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, again, I think we're seeing clear evidence that there's no visible nor terminal knowledge to understand that my client misunderstood the fact that he was being chased. Your Honor, we're looking at a body cam that shows Chief Deputy Williams failed to properly identify himself. Therefore, I ask that the court reduces the fleeing and evading charge, as there is no crucial evidence shown that my client was asked to stop. And Your Honor, permission to return to the domestic violence charge.
Of course, sir. And may I also remind you that, of course, we are on trial here for trying to.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your job is to get the client away with no charges, and their job is to get him away with as many charges as they feel necessary. So we
Yes,
are
Your
aware
Honor,
of what you
understand.
are trying to do here, sir. We are aware that you are trying to get his charges dropped. I ask you not to remind us what you would like us to do, but instead just provide the evidence so we may decide what to do on a lawful level. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes,
No
Your Honor, and
problem,
I
sir.
apologize. I'm just presenting to the court that there is no crucial nor clear evidence that, there is no crucial nor clear evidence that my client was verbally told to stop. Your Honor, will we be taking a moment to
May
hear
I
the...
object?
Your Honor, I'm trying to have the
Objection
floor.
overruled. The defendant's representative still has the stand. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so, Your Honor, will we be taking a moment to hear the final reviews, and will we be returning to the tables to hear which sentence will be given, and if there will be no sentence, and we will hear the final thoughts of both defendants?
Yes, sir. As all court cases work, there will be a conclusion in which I will state whether you're guilty or innocent, sir. As all court cases work. Sir, if that's all you have, you may be seated, as well as the witness here. You may return back to your post, sir. I do appreciate you coming up and speaking to us.
You're welcome, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. I appreciate you hearing my thoughts.
No problem, sir. You may be seated.
Your Honor.
If the prosecutors may go ahead, if they have a counter argument to provide to this case, you may proceed, whether it's the representative or the prosecution victim herself.
We do, Your Honor. I would like to
You may
ask my
proceed.
client to go up to the stand.
Granted, the client may come up to the stand. You may skip the oath as you've already taken it. Please, yes, ma'am. You understand what to do. If I may make it evident to this, or clear to this court, that now the prosecutor's representative as well as the prosecutor victim now has the stand. Any speaking or interrupting may result in your removal from this court. You may proceed.
Okay. Firstly, I would like to ask the defendant's lawyer a question.
Objection, Your Honor. I no longer have the floor. Therefore, at the end, actually, Your Honor, I oppose that objection. I will take her question.
So, you say that a officer is not has to say that they are detaining someone, which, from my recollection, Your Honor, you correct me if I'm wrong. In the state of San Andreas, you do not have to say you're being detained. If an officer is present and an officer has asked you something, there is a level of detainment, regardless if you're standing there in the middle of the street or on a property or you're in a vehicle. It's still the same. And he ran from that, which would make a...
Objection, objection, objection.
Objection overruled. You may proceed.
So
you may
that
proceed, prosecutor.
Thank you. That would still put a fleeing and eluding or whatever that charge is.
Objection, Your Honor. She's accusing my client with no proof.
If I may have order in the court, I denied that objection. If you may please take a seat, sir, or you will be removed from this court. We have rules in this court, sir. I ask you to abide by them. You may proceed, prosecutor.
So, Your Honor, am I right in my statement there?
Bailiff, if you may go ahead and intervene, as you are more...
Okay. On a level, yes, she is correct. Can you refresh my memory just on that last part, ma'am?
I will go ahead and refresh your memory, sir. So at the time that this happened, the officer, he did explain that he was an officer of the law, that he was a chief deputy with the police department in the local jurisdiction. He also explained to them that he is... But what he did not explain to them that was that they were being stopped at the time. He did not explain to Aaron Arbaugh that he was being stopped, although he was still on the scene and still present at the time whenever the fleeing and eluding happened.
Okay.
He
So
made his
if the
presence known, but he made it not known that the individual was supposed to be stopping for the law enforcement officials. Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to clarify a little bit better.
Okay, so if the officer is already on scene and talking to the defendant, okay, they don't have to tell you that you are getting detained. They have to tell you that you are getting arrested, but not being detained. Now, therefore, Your Honor, interrupt me if I'm going a little far in this. Now, the whole fleeing and eluding, that's on the defendant, Your Honor.
I personally cannot agree nor disagree, but I will take that into consideration whenever making my decision. You may proceed, prosecutors. I do apologize for the interruption. I just felt like that, we have the sheriff as well as the bailiff here, and he could go ahead and shed some light on some of our law enforcement rules. You may proceed, prosecutors.
Okay. Back to the domestic violence. Considering the only evidence is what we have was what given off the law enforcement reports, and the prosecution the defendants have no viable proof of Arbaugh not doing said crime, not domestically abusing me in question, surely that has any consolation on the result of court, considering the only evidence given is by the police report.
I understand. Is there anything your representative would like to ask you or speak on behalf of you? Miss Alexis, if that would be all, you have permission to be seated back at your booth.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Does your representative have anything they'd like to say before we seat you?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then you have permission to be seated.
Your Honor, may I have permission to take the floor one more time before final thoughts?
You have permission to take the floor. Go ahead, prosecutor.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate you.
My apologies. Go ahead, defendant.
Your Honor, I'd like to follow up on a statement that Miss Alexis just made, and I think that is clear evidence to the case. Miss Alexis just said that my client Aaron Arbaugh has no evidence that he did not assault her. Therefore, you know, the victim, Miss Alexis, also has no evidence that my client did assault her. Therefore,
objection, Your Honor.
Objection granted. You may proceed, prosecutor.
Your Honor, we do have proof. It's on the police report, and she was obviously there when the abuse happened because she was being abused.
If I may remind the defendant that we do have proof, although it may not be a lot of proof, it is still proof. So you stating that we have no proof or that there has been no proof provided to the court is a false statement. If you may go ahead and correct your choice of wording as well as your statement towards more truthful matters, you may proceed, sir.
But yeah, Your Honor, unfortunately, Sorry, Your Honor, go ahead.
I do have evidence that provides a couple of things, whether it's evidence towards your guys, towards the defendant's side, or towards the prosecutor's side is irrelevant. We do have evidence, though, so I do ask that you stop referring to the lack of evidence we have, as we do have some evidence, sir.
Your Honor, thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, fortunately, I have to disagree with that statement because, to my knowledge, the only evidence that was presented to the court today was the pictures of Miss Alexis's injuries. Is that correct, Your Honor?
That would be false at this time. I have been sent plenty of evidence from a multitude of sources in which I have been reviewing throughout this court case. I ask you not to assume what I have, but just provide the evidence that you have, sir. Simply not having evidence for their side does not make your side correct, sir. I need you to go ahead and provide evidence in which what you say is true. If you may proceed with that, there will be no more objections that will be granted unless you provide more false evidence or more, how do I say, just small talk that isn't really getting anywhere. I would appreciate, and I'm sure that the prosecutors would also appreciate, if you provide hard evidence as to what you provide.
Your Honor, excuse me.
Connected. User entered your channel.
You're stating the fact that you have been reviewing more evidence, but I'm just struggling to understand what evidence that you are reviewing, because to my knowledge, nothing was mentioned to me that there is more evidence. Therefore, there's no evidence that you guys on file said to me that you had further evidence besides the pictures of Miss Alexis' injuries.
May I be reminded that I have no obligation to provide you with the evidence that the prosecutors provide with me. This is purely for review of the court. You see, you have no sway in whether in the decision that happens. They have provided me with their evidence. You have provided me with your evidence, sir. All I'm asking is that you provide me with your evidence and stop claiming that they have provided me with no evidence, sir. Maybe not on this courtroom have they stood here and provided me with the evidence straight to the bailiff, but there were things that were sent to me before this court, before this even happened, that is considered evidence, sir. I'm not.
Your Honor, excuse me, that was not made to my knowledge.
I wish you only to present your evidence and your facts as to what you know what happened, as well as representing your defendant. I wish you not to question me or my methods of evidence and gathering the truth. Do we have an understanding in this courtroom, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. I apologize that
You provide your side and your evidence. They provide their side and their evidence. I will review both sides of the evidence and both sides of what I see, and I will make a fair decision based on the conducts of our Constitution and the laws that are here in San Andreas, sir. Do I have
Your
to
Honor,
clarify anything else, sir?
No, Your Honor, and I apologize for miscommunication. I was just stating the fact for the court that there was no further evidence to my knowledge at this time. Your Honor, upon further review, I would like to call my client, Mr. Arbaugh, to the stand for one last time before final thoughts, please.
I understand, sir. And before I go ahead and accept that, I would like to say one more thing. If you would like
Yes,
to
Your
go
Honor.
ahead and say that their evidence is false or that I do not have enough evidence, we will count this as a mistrial, sir.
No, Your Honor, that's not what I
A
was
mistrial
stating, Your
in
Honor.
favor of the prosecutors.
Your Honor,
Your Honor,
may I speak?
Your Honor, that's
You may not at this time.
what
Please wait for the defendant. I understand, sir. I just wanted to make it clear that if this keeps happening, there will be a second trial that will have to appear due to the mistrial.
Yes, Your Honor. Before we give the prosecutors time to speak, you granted me the time to speak, Your Honor. So
You may speak, sir. Go ahead. You were asking me directly. I was answering you directly.
Yes, sir.
I will now stay silent as you have 100%. You have completely have the floor, and Mr. Arbaugh also has the floor if you would like to step up here as a witness.
Mr. Arbaugh, please take the stand upon further statement.
I would like to make it apparent to the court that the defendants, both the representative and the defendant himself, both has the floor now. Any interruptions may result in your removal from this court. You may proceed.
Mr. Honor, I would like to speak on my behalf, please.
You may speak. Go ahead, sir. You have the
All
floor.
right, okay. I know I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I would just like to point out that both officers that were on scene and both the prosecutor and Miss Alexis here that is charging me and that are going to charge me with these crimes, both officers stated that they didn't know how many people were inside the premises at this time of that call. And then also, I would also like to say that the officer in the back, yes, he did tell me that he was a deputy chief, but he didn't. But he then decided to clarify that apparently you guys missed on his body cam that he did ask me if there was another police officer at the door, and at that time I did not know. Again, I thought it was the pizza delivery guy. And then he said, "Okay, thank you," and then proceeded to go around front, and then I proceeded to walk again back to my cattle to check on them. So I just want to know why the officer and the prosecutors didn't realize that part was on the body cam, and why that doesn't have any play inside this investigation.
Mr. Arbaugh, may I inject and ask you a question, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, you may.
Are you asking for there to be witnesses to stand up for you to question?
I am.
10-4. I'm sorry, not 10-4. Understood, sir. If I may have the representative of the prosecutor, please stand up here to the witness stand and take your oath in front of the bailiff. Will you be questioning them, Mr. Arbaugh, or will your representative be questioning them?
I discussed this with my attorney, and I'm going to be questioning them myself.
If I may have you take a stand in front of my court here. If your representative will stay where he was on the side over there by the witness stand, and then I will have the the prosecutor's representative stand at the witness table for questioning, sir, after he takes his oath. While he takes his oath, I ask for complete silence in the court from everyone, including the prosecutors. You may proceed, bailiff.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, as you are being under oath?
Yes, I do.
You may take a seat.
Questioning has now started. I wish for complete silence in the court, except for the defendant and the prosecutor's representative. You may proceed. You have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Prosecutor, may I ask you at least your last name to where I can speak to you directly, please?
It's Compton.
All right, Mr. Compton. Again, like I was telling everybody here in the courtroom, along with you guys, your officers stated that your officer in the back stated that he did make himself aware of me walking out the back, and that he did, how can I put this? He did identify himself to me properly, correct?
Yes, he did, John.
Okay, now my next question is while you guys were reviewing the body cam footage, did you guys happen to miss the part where he asked about if there was another officer up front?
No, we reviewed it all, and we have it all.
Okay, so my next question is why didn't that come into play? Because yes, he did say that he was deputy chief of the, actually correction, he said that he was deputy chief of the Los Santos Police Department, not the Sandy Shores Police Department. So there's a little bit of mix up right there. And next question is he didn't give me his badge number as most officers are supposed to. Again, I did not request that, so that there was on my behalf. I did not ask that. But the point that I'm trying to get at is he never made it aware that I was being stopped, that I was even being questioned, or that anything was going on the premises. So I would like to ask on my behalf that the fleeing and eluding charge be dropped, because I had no recollection that the officers were there for me or for any such crime that I committed. But if any other further investigation needs to take place, I will allow that to take place, because I have no control over that. But that's all I would like to say, because I feel like that is a very big crucial piece of evidence that the officer asked me if there was any other officers up front, and I told him that I did not know that it was a pizza man.
Mr. Arbaugh, I do take into consideration what you have said, and I would actually like to intervene just to ask a question for the knowledge of the court. During the felony evasion, was there a full-on police pursuit where there were multiple officers on scene? And if so, did any of the officers explain that the Mr. Arbaugh needs to be stopped, or that he needs to, or that he's under investigation in any way? Whether it's you guys telling him you're under arrest, whether you guys telling him just to stop, anything like that. Was there any indication that Mr. Arbaugh needed to stop during the actual pursuit that insisted?
Yes, Your Honor, I did. I had told my officers to stop him so we could talk.
And is there any documented proof that he was told to stop by any of your officers, sir?
Yes, I have my body cam footage. You can
Honor,
hear me
may
say,
Absolutely. May that be presented to the court whenever you have a chance to present that to the bailiff. Of course, you're being questioned right now, so that's not an appropriate time. But afterwards, if you do have access to those films, please present that to the bailiff, who will present that to me for review.
Yes,
You
may
guys
I,
may proceed, though. I did not mean to
okay,
interject.
no, you're fine, Your Honor. May I ask that I'm no longer asking the prosecutor. Actually, I am. He states that he was there. Now, my next question is, this may be irrelevant. He can object. You can object. But is he a prosecutor or is he a police officer?
So he is a prosecutor at this time, although he does have evidence as well as witness accounts of the actual event, seeing as how he was there. He does. Sorry, go
Okay.
ahead, Mr. Arbaugh.
Okay, I would like to clarify that yes, I don't know the radio traffic. I'm not on that. You know, I'm not a law enforcement official or of any type of way. But I would like to clarify that there was only one officer behind me at the time that I seen, and there was there was no way that. Well, actually, let me regather my thoughts here. Nobody at that time, no law enforcement official asked me to stop or to stop running. I felt scared for my life because I did not know what they were doing there.
Mr.
And
Arbaugh, may I interject and ask you, do you understand, do you know the identity of the officer who was behind you at that time?
I do. It was the
Was
officer that I asked up here for questioning earlier. At that time, he was wearing black pants with a white shirt with a black with some black body armor on it, and it
Mr.
was that
Arbaugh,
exact officer that I pulled up here earlier.
I would like to thank you for clarifying. I do apologize for interrupting. I will not interject anymore. You may proceed.
You're fine, Your Honor. But as I was saying, there was only one officer behind me at that time, and even when I would admit I hid in a bush again, I was scared. I didn't know what happened. I didn't even know why they were there. But at that time, he did not ask me to come out. He did not order me out. He didn't tell me to get on my hands and knees. He didn't tell me to quit fleeing or running. So therefore, again, I'm going to ask on my behalf instead of my attorney's behalf that fleeing and evading charge be dropped, because I had no recollection that they were trying to stop me at that point in time until after I got picked up over by the ammunition in Sandy Shores, where they pulled me over, and they asked me to step out of the car, which I was very compliant with them when they pulled me over. I wasn't argumentative. I did ask why I was being stopped, and they said that they will let me know because there was an investigation going on that included myself. So I stepped out of the vehicle. I walked over to the passenger side. I leaned on my car, and I did smoke a cigarette until everything was said and done. I didn't fight with them. I was very cooperative with them.
Understood, Mr. Arbaugh.
But other than that, I have no further questions for the prosecutor. If I may return back down to my seat.
You may be seated, Mr. Arbaugh. You may be seated too, prosecutor representative, if you feel that you have nothing else to say on the matter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Also, Your Honor, may we take a 15-minute recess?
15-minute?
Yes, Your Honor.
How would the court feel to a 15-minute recess?
Your Honor,
I give everyone permission to speak.
Your Honor, upon further request, can we reduce that to 5 minutes?
Would you be okay if we reduce that to 5 minutes, prosecutor representative?
Or even 10, Your Honor.
Or even 10?
Can we ask why the reason for it?
May we ask why the reason, sir? If it's personal, you do not have to explain to us. We are just
It's
curious.
personal.
I understand, sir. We will be taking... Does a 10-minute recess sound okay, sir? Or does it need to be 15? We will be taking a 10-minute recess at this time. Everybody
Grab
does
your
have...
bag, Mr. Arbaugh.
Everyone except for the officers in this room have permission to leave the room, but not leave the courthouse. Leaving the courthouse, if you are a prosecutor or a defendant, may result in criminal action.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You may leave the courtroom at this time. If I may speak to the bailiff personally.
Have a good break.
If you guys...
What? Pretty tense right now. Yeah, especially when I had to go up there. Yeah. Do what?
Was you nervous?
Pretty nervous to the point where I was shaking out of my head.
Well, hopefully we'll have a verdict too soon.
Oh, hopefully nothing happens with me.
Hopefully not.
So.
I'm sure you'll be fine, officer.
I hope so.
I mean, I'm as best as you can be, really. Just got back from the UK. Had to take a break.
Yeah.
So how are yours guys' days doing?
Okay, I guess, with me having to go up to the stand and shit, it's pretty intense for me right now.
That's understandable. I mean, you won't get... I don't think you'll get prosecuted for anything. Like, you won't get reprimands for anything.
No, but my chief may have a talk with me, and I don't know what's going to happen then, so...
I'm sure you'll be fine. It might just be a informal write-up.
Yeah, there was a lot of shit that happened. There was a lot of radio traffic going on, so it was pretty hectic when we were on scene with you.
Yeah, I heard that. I have a scanner in the house, which is legal. Don't worry, scanners are legal.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry.
But I scan radio channels just to see what's going on in my community. You know, you gotta know sometimes. So I heard everything that was going on at the same time as me making that call.
Yeah, so
Yep, but sorry about everything that happened, and hopefully we can get some justice here today.
yeah, I really
Also,
I wish you good luck on everything. I do. I've been on too many scenes with stuff like this, and it gets to me good.
Miss Katie,
yes.
may I speak to you in private, please?
Yes. Sure.
Well, that's the first time I've
Let
got
me-
to talk to her.
Let me switch Bluetooth.
Yeah, holy shit, what the fuck was that? That was my question.
I'm on 7, can I know?
10-9.
Did that unit just press the radio button? Because he was trying to put as much as static from both.
I heard that too. I don't know who was it.
Be advised, it may have been just a lot of static coming
There's
through.
still going to be about 3 to 4 minutes of recess.
It was Hog.
Just to let everyone in the courtroom know.
10-4.
It was an accident.
10-4.
Yeah, it might have been me. I'm not sure.
Absolutely, you're the bailiff. You have permission to do whatever you want.
I hope I don't go on the stand anymore because I am done with it.
Oh, I feel you, man. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on today, so.
After you, Mr. Arbaugh.
Okay.
3 more minutes until court will, the session
How you doing?
will be resumed.
Good, what about
Pretty
you,
good.
man?
Yes, sir.
After this, I would like to speak to you guys.
Yes, sir, no problem.
Okay.
Alright.
You gentlemen still here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, after this, I would like to speak to you two as well.
Alrighty,
Yep.
sounds good.
Thank you, gentlemen.
No problem.
Your Honor, may I have an update on the time till court is resumed?
I don't know if the judges ever just have work, but this is pretty decent here.
I have a window all units. I need to go out my head for a minute, so I'm gonna be away for a minute.
Affirm.
Almost 7 copies.
Can you repeat that?
10-4, I believe FiveM said he wanted to be going out of his head for a few nights.
10-4.
How are you officers at the door doing today?
We're doing good about you, Judge.
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm sorry this is taking so long, guys. We got a lot to go over today. We will be concluding here soon, though. It seems I have a lot of evidence. I have a lot of their statements. I'm going to let them both make one more stand on behalf of each of them, and then I will go ahead and review the evidence and make my decision. And you gentlemen will be able to go back on regular patrol as normal soon. I do thank you for taking court duty today. I know it's not the most fun thing, but it is a very necessary thing that we need.
Yes, Your Honor, we completely understand. Always stay happy to help.
Mr. Bailiff, will this be everybody?
Yes, Your Honor.
Recess is now concluded. The court is now back in session. I do ask for everyone to remain order in the court, as well as be respectful towards those who are speaking. Failure to do so will result in your removal from the court from either one of these fine officers here or the bailiff himself. Now,
Your-
sorry, go ahead, bailiff. You may speak.
There is one thing we did forget to do, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Is I forgot to put everybody under oath before we started, Your Honor. That's my mistake.
That's okay, sir. I believe everyone went through a secret oath before they even walked in this courtroom today. We were just making sure that if they took the witness stand, they took a second oath with you, sir. So you've done everything perfectly fine. Nothing has been violated today.
Okay, sorry, Your Honor.
No need to be sorry, sir. You're only doing your job. I appreciate the diligence, sir. Now, the last we heard from was from the the defendants. Prosecutors, would you like to take a stand?
Your Honor, I have the chip from the officer. Would you like to see that?
I would absolutely like to review that evidence, sir. If you may bring that to my bailiff, who will bring that to me, and I will review it on my laptop.
There you go.
Thank you.
Do you have any further statements you would like to say, prosecution?
My bad, Your Honor.
You're okay, sir. It's a really fun desk to jump on, I understand.
Here's the evidence, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to be checking this out at this time. And to the prosecution, will that be your final statement? These are the concluding statements of the trial. So if you have anything to say, please state them now.
Your Honor, is this the final time we will be able to speak before possible sentencing?
Defendants, I will give you a chance to speak whenever your time has come, but this will be the conclusion. The only time you will have time to speak again after this is if you have a counter argument to what the prosecution says or the defendants say. So prosecution, just to let you know, if you speak now and then the defendants say something that you object to or would like to speak on after they're done speaking, you may do so. It does not necessarily mean that you cannot speak after they're done speaking. But these are the concluding statements, so go ahead and start providing the rest of the evidence as well as your final statements, starting with the prosecution. You do have the floor, prosecution, both you and your representative. Would you like to pass on your time on the floor, or would you like to stand and speak? Seeing as how the prosecution fails to answer, I will go ahead and ask the defendants the same question. Do you have any further statements you would like to display? If not, please let me know.
Your Honor, before possible sentencing, yes, we would like to make a deal.
The representative of the defendants has the floor. You may come over here and speak, sir.
Your Honor, before we get to that, I'm still reviewing the body cam footage.
I am, sir. If you would like to wait till after I've reviewed the body cam footage, that is acceptable as well.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to.
If I could just have silence in the court while I review this footage, court will resume here shortly. And now I would like to ask the defendants. or I'm sorry, the prosecutors. Would you like to speak for your concluding statement, sir? Or ma'am?
No, we don't, Your Honor.
Understood. And to the defendants, this is your now final chance to speak before there is a conclusion made based on your case. Would you like to speak, whether it be your representative or you yourself, sir, Mr. Arbaugh?
Your Honor,
Yes,
my client, Mr. Arbaugh, would like to have the floor.
You are granted, Mr. Arbaugh. Please take the stand, or please take the floor. You may speak. I will remind all individuals in this court any interruptions will lead to your removal from the court. You may proceed, Mr. Arbaugh.
Your Honor, I would like to know, is that the officer's body cam footage that was quote unquote pursuing me, or is that the one up at the front door?
I believe
If
that was the supervisors that went and spoke to him.
okay,
If the
now
Sorry, go ahead, Mr. Arbaugh. I did not mean to interrupt.
I would like I don't want to overlay this any further, so if they want to again object to it, they can. But I
Take
would
as long
like
as
you
you
to
need, Mr.
review.
Arbaugh.
I would like for you to review the body cam footage of the deputy that was, or of the officer that was following behind me, to see if you hear him give any verbal commands to tell me to stop, or that I'm being stopped, or that he wants me to stop, or any verbal commands to come out of the bush. Because again, at that time, I did not know that I was getting pursued by the police until I turned around and I ducked into that bush. And he even knew where I was at, but he did not give me any verbal commands to come out of said bush.
Understood, Mr. Arbaugh. And are you asking for the individual to come up as a witness, or are you asking for me just to review the dash cam? I will
I'm
do
ask-
both if asked, but I'm definitely going to review the dash cam regardless.
I'm asking for you to review his body cam footage, not the dash cam, because as I recall, his car was probably up front of the property. I'm asking you to
Understood,
review
sir.
his body cam.
The bailiff did present me with his body cam earlier. I have not reviewed that far into the clip. I will go ahead and review that further, but not only will I review that, but I will let the entire court review it with me, so that all can see the evidence that is provided.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, here we go. DVD player, Blu-ray, and now I will ask everyone in the courtroom to please remain silent while the video plays. Myself and the bailiff are included in this. Please review the evidence, and then you may make your statements after.
Hey, William, you got a copy?
Is that a fucking kettle?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is along body cam. We want to make sure that we do not miss anything important, so please continue reviewing it. I do apologize for how long it is, but these are the way things work here in the courthouse.
Yes, Your Honor. Take your time.
Only 10-minute transition.
Say that again?
Damon signals in an RTO. I believe, respond back due to the fact that the officer that was involved in the first scene was not in his head at the moment. He had to step away for a minute, so we could cover the fact that
The flololo.
Can we keep radio traffic to a minimum, please?
My bad.
Damn, this body cam is like long.
oh yeah.
To me, it looks like the TV's broken. Oh, there you go.
Who fucking tea kettle is that, bro?
Control to 501.
Be advised, I just typed in the skybox.
10-4, do you have a tea kettle in your room?
10-9.
Do you have a tea kettle next to you?
Negative.
10-4.
But whoever it is, I gotta fix it.
All right. Everyone in the court has seen it. I will now call one more time for the prosecutors to have a final statement given this new evidence. Do you wish to speak, prosecutors?
No, Your Honor.
I will also give that same respect to the defendants. Do you wish to speak based on the evidence provided?
Yes, Your Honor.
You now have the floor. I may now remind everyone in the courtroom that the representative of the prosecutor and possibly the prosecutor, or I'm sorry, the representative of the defendant as well as the defendant himself now have the floor. Anyone who interrupts the defendant could result in your removal from this courtroom. You may proceed.
Your Honor, me and my client appreciate you reviewing the dash cam footage one more time, excuse me, sorry.
Of course, sir. It's my job.
Upon further review, Your Honor, I believe the footage shows the officer did not verbally tell my client to stop, although he did identify himself, Your Honor. So me and my client are asking that you drop the fleeing and evading charge due to the fact that my client was never told verbally to stop. Although we would like you to consider and drop the fleeing and evading charge, Your Honor, we are willing to take a plea for the domestic violence charge, Your Honor.
Understood. It is too late for pleas at this time since the court is in session and trial is in session. Therefore, your plea deal has been denied.
Your Honor, excuse me. I mean my conclusion. I apologize.
You may proceed. I was just explaining to you that the plea deal will be denied, seeing as how it is too far in the trial for that to be a possibility. You may proceed.
Your Honor, we are willing to be nothing but cooperative with you. And I think even the prosecutors can agree my client has been nothing but cooperative. The court and my client and the defendant is asking. Excuse me, Your Honor. May I ask one further question to you, Your Honor?
Of course, you have the floor, sir.
Your Honor, although I misunderstood that plea deals were only at the beginning of the trial, we ask you firmly that you allow my client to make a plea deal with the Supreme Court of Los Angeles.
I again must decline as it is too late. Although I understand that you are unaware that the plea deal must be provided before the beginning of the case, I still deny. At this time, we are taking you into consideration for both. This trial itself is for both felony evasion as well as domestic abuse. If we went ahead and accepted a plea deal now, that would be unprecedented as well as unconstitutional. We would not be giving. If we accepted that plea deal, we would not be taking into consideration the prosecution, the evidence they have provided, and everything that they have said to us. Therefore, I have to decline your plea deal. Although I will take into consideration, just because you do not have a plea deal does not mean your victim or I apologize, your client is not innocent or of these crimes. Therefore, these charges may be completely released based on what I see. If you could go ahead and provide me with evidence and stop asking for a plea deal, as I've already declined it once. I'm declining it again now, and if you ask again, I will decline a third time. There will be no plea deal here. This is an actual trial. Your defendant at the end of this trial will either be charged for one or multiple charges or not charged at all. It
Your
is your
Honor.
job to provide the evidence as to what you think should happen here, sir, and represent your client. You may go, Mr.
Yes, Your
Arbaugh.
Honor. Yes, Your Honor. I apologize for the miscommunication, Mr. Arbaugh. Go ahead.
Of course, I just wanted to make it clear that we do not do plea deals here once we are actually in trial.
Your Honor, I would like to bring to the table the fact that I didn't physically bring evidence, but I did bring up a big crucial piece of evidence,
Yes,
considering
sir.
the fact that the state of San Andreas and the police department were probably not or wasn't going to give you the body cam footage of the officer that I asked you to review. So that right there is a big, and we all watched footage, we all heard the audio. Yes, he walked up behind me. He did state his name and his rank within the department, and then you heard me talking to him, making small talk, and then you heard that he got assisted to go, that he got called back to go up front. That's when I again proceeded to walk to the backyard to check on my cattle, and then when I turn around, I'm getting chased. I would like to know how they knew that I was the quote unquote abuser of this when they didn't even have no recollection of what I looked like until after the fact that they pulled me over.
Mr. Arbaugh, I may be able to speak on behalf of them. It does appear that under the court of law, when arriving on a scene, you must make sure that all individuals are accounted for, whether they may be directly involved or not. Officers who arrive on scene are unaware to who is involved and who is not involved. They could have been trying to stop you just on the presence that you could have been involved. I understand that they have failed to explain to you that you are being stopped lawfully, that you are being stopped by a law enforcement official, and that is a major point of evidence that you have provided to myself as well as the rest of the court, and I will definitely take that into consideration, sir. I do appreciate you bringing that to my attention. I appreciate your representative bringing that to my attention, and I appreciate the prosecutor as well as everyone who has complied with him to bring the body cams as well as the rest of the evidence up here.
You're welcome.
Do you have
Your
any
Honor.
further closing statements?
Yes, Your Honor. We ask that if my client is charged with the, excuse me, Your Honor, I'd like to follow up on the fleeing and eluding. Like I said, Your Honor, we ask the court that charge immediately be
I
dropped
understand what you
because
ask of the court. So we are on trial to see if you're right now, as of right now, your defendant, your client, Mr. Arbaugh, he is innocent. As we say here in the United States of America, you are innocent until proven guilty, and I have no recollection of breaking that rule. As of right now, you're the individual who you represent, your client, he is innocent. This court will decide whether or not we remain him innocent or if we declare him guilty of these charges, whether it be one of the charges or multiple of the charges. I understand what you're asking of me. You do want me to drop the charges, whether it be to the assault or to the felony evasion. I understand. That is what we are here in court, sir. So you don't have to keep further asking me to drop the charges, as I already understand that is what we're here in court, sir. So if you have any closing statements that refer to any evidence or any statements that the prosecutors have said, you may proceed, or anything that may sway this the decision of or the outcome of this court.
Yes,
You
Your
may
Honor.
proceed, sir. Do you have anything else to say, sir?
That's all.
Okay. With that, it does appear that the court will be taking a 5-minute recess to review the evidence and to come up with a conclusion. Whenever you return from that 5-minute recess, a conclusion will be provided. There will be no one who is allowed to stand for any sort of conclusions. Concluding statements have been completed at this time. Therefore, you do have permission to go ahead and take your recess. When you return, the final decision will be made. I do apologize. I'm coming a little tongue-tied. Everyone may proceed with the recess.
And can I get the one set to go out one door and one out the other, please? That's not what I meant, but okay. They don't make them big enough, I know.
Oh, Lord. Got a big decision to make here.
Would you like some water, Judge?
If you don't mind, I would like a cup. I'm getting quite parched over here.
Your Honor, may I ask you a question really quick?
No problem, but afterwards, if you may go ahead and pertain to recess so that we may make a decision.
It's just a legal thing. Would I be able to get would I be able to have to come back to get a restraining order, or would that be dealt with differently?
Absolutely. If you can go to your local police department or wherever you feel necessary, and you absolutely can get a restraining order on the individual.
Okay,
you
so
don't
that's going to need to be signed by court?
Well, that would be a separate trial. That would not be the same thing. But I'm pretty sure you can just go down to your local police department here in San Andreas and get a restraining order. Okay. I'm pretty sure you don't need to go through a whole court ordeal for it.
I believe there was a temporary one put in place, but I thought that was just until.
If it is, I will have to. I am back from vacation, so I may have to update my knowledge on the situation. I do apologize if I'm being false. Fine. The bailiff may know more than me here, so I'll let him go ahead and take over. He is a very smart man, and he will tell you exactly what you need to do in this regard. I do apologize for not having the knowledge myself. I just got back from vacation.
Thank you.
Here's your water, Judge.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Let's go.
I forgot about that.
You will. Okay, here you go. You can go down to your local family court, but go to your local PD, and then they'll give you a paper and a number to call, and then you go down to your family court, ma'am.
Okay, would that be the one at the ammunition Sandy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, man.
God.
So I was just moving my head. Oh, there you go. Okay, we can go in. Oh, I guess we'll go.
Okay. At this time, I do ask everyone to stand up as the judge will make his final call. Thank you.
Mr. Arbaugh, you ready?
Court is now in session. If I may have silence throughout all the court, no one has the right to speak except for myself. This court has gone on.
Oh,
Hold on, give me a second. Officers are roughhousing over there. All right. I have reviewed all of the evidence, all of the statements provided to me. After all of the evidence and statements provided to me, I have decided that on the count of felony evasion, which is a third-degree felony, Mr. Arbaugh is seen not guilty under the ramifications of this court. Now, as for the domestic assault, Mr. Arbaugh is seen not guilty. He has been acquitted of all charges. Mr. Arbaugh is not being charged today for any of the crimes that he has been sent here for. The reason for that being his paperwork was not properly done within the police computer. Therefore, I cannot properly convict him of any of the crimes here, seeing as how he technically has never been arrested for felony evading. He has been arrested for assault, but the evidence provided to me has not been enough evidence to prove that he was the sole aggressor of the case. He was not the person who actually went and did the assault. Based on the evidence that has been provided, it is unclear if it was him or not. As for the felony evading, he is being acquitted on all charges resulting or referring to the felony evading due to the fact that he was never even charged with felony evading in his arrest report. Therefore, he is not under trial for felony evading, and it is my mistake for telling him that he was to begin with, seeing as he's never been arrested for felony evading. Therefore, he has been acquitted on those charges, and he has been acquitted on the assault charges for lack of evidence. This court has now been concluded. Mr. Arbaugh, you are free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. We appreciate you.
If you may not,
please stay seated for 1 second. The bailiff would like to speak.
if now that court is concluded, may the defendant go out one door and other people wait 5 minutes so they have time to leave, so we don't have any problems. Thank you.
Yes, Thank you, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Yes, Mr. Bailiff, we appreciate you.
Hold on 1 second, you guys. LSPDI, are you here? Okay, sir? You. Can you walk these fine gentlemen out?
I would like to thank everyone for participating in this and being very civil about it. I do apologize if the outcome was not to your liking, but I had to work with the constitutional laws that I am provided with as well as the evidence I was provided with. I could not legally go ahead and charge him for what he has been under investigation for, seeing as how the lack of diligence through both the police department and the lack of evidence provided to me about the assault. Although the felony evasion, there was a lot of evidence of that.
Yeah, guys.
I could not prosecute him on that, no matter how far he took it, seeing as how he's never even been charged for that. This courtroom is now concluded. You may leave from the back exit with the 2 officers, prosecutors.
Hell yeah! Whoop whoop party!
Like I said, if you go down to your local PD station,
good stuff. That's right.